This time on One Foot Flipper, we're going to talk about Timmy. Stay tuned.
One foot flipper.
Hey everybody, Paige here, the One Foot Flipper. Welcome back to the channel, back to the shed. Oh, wait, no, that's somebody else's channel. Welcome back, though. This is the place where my videos are supposed to be filmed, and of my couple hundred videos so far, I think 5% of them have actually been filmed here. So, pretty good, right? My last video was about YouTubers quitting. Seems to hit a chord with some people. A lot of people came up with other names of people in the comments, people that I weren't aware of or that I didn't watch, and I didn't track down all of them, so I'm not going to go naming any names of people I don't know anything about, but you can look for my comments and find them.
I'm out.
But apparently it's a bigger trend than I thought.
I'm out.
Why don't we hope that all our favorites stay here if they can, but I want everybody to do whatever is best for them. I sold this John Madden Football 93 Super Nintendo in-box and manual, $14.78. This had been in the store for years. Pretty sure because pretty sure this is left over from when I used to try to collect physical video games. I gave up on that a long time ago because I discovered I never actually played them. So there was no reason to have them. I'm more of a PC gamer than I am a console gamer anymore. So today, what we're going to talk about is Timmy. Timmy? Who is Timmy? Timmy is a certain type of person who's out there in the world in large numbers. Timmy is an excitable person. He is really into things. Timmy's often young. Timmy is most often male. In fact, I'm going to refer to Timmy as if he was male throughout this video. There are a few female Timmys out there, but they usually are men. Timmy is often low income. Timmy is very often single. Not that he doesn't have any interest in the ladies, or the men for that matter. It's just that he has more interest in his hobbies. In fact, he's obsessed with a single hobby usually. And this could literally be any sort of hobby that could be followed by someone of low income.
Fuggler merch, guys. Fuggler merch. That's going to go perfectly on my Fuggler shelf.
Timmy might like video games, Pokemon cards, rap CDs, model cars, sealed action figures, anything that you can make on that McDonald's paycheck or the money you get from your mom. You know, Timmy's not obsessed with drag racing or any hobbies like that, skiing, nothing that's expensive to pursue. Only things that you can pursue on a limited amount of money. And that's a pretty nearly endless area. Provided that it's a hobby item, what you're not going to find is any plumbing supply Timmys or router bit Timmys. Those Timmys do not exist as far as I can tell. Your younger Timmys will also quite often have a larger than average interest in Asian culture. Often being more likely to watch anime, read manga, be interested in Japanese video games, have an anime have an anime profile picture, that sort of thing. Timmy, well, he makes poor decisions. He's usually not actually stupid though. Timmy's often pretty bright, but he does not think things through. And your younger adult Timmys, they often still live at home with their parents, and they're usually underemployed, even if they have a degree. Timmy could have an engineering degree, but Timmy still moved right back in to his parents' basement after college and took a minimum wage job at the remote control car store so he could be around the remote control cars instead of actually pursuing his career, because that's more fun. And if you don't pursue your career, you can't fail at it, right? Sold this Bretonian Knight Warhammer sprue, $7.16. Not much on here. I guess the guy really wanted the helmet and the two spears. I'm gonna say, Paige, I don't care about Timmy. I don't know anybody named Timmy. Or, Paige, yeah, I know a whole lot of Timmys, but what does this have to do with reselling? The thing is that Timmy greatly affects the profitability of any reselling area he's interested in, both as a buyer and as a seller. Now, as a seller, Timmy just wants to be around the stuff. Timmy's probably going to value his time at zero, and he may indeed often send things out at a dead loss. Those dead loss sales will usually come from a combination of free shipping. Free shipping is free, right? And not understanding his expenses. And Timmy can be a bad seller. Timmy is likely to be the sort of seller who decides to run scam sales when a new game console comes out in a desperate effort to pay for his own new games console. Timmy will be the guy trying to sell a picture of a PlayStation box or an empty PlayStation box for the retail price of the game system because Timmy desperately wants that game system. Or when Timmy might have a job. Timmy might actually be running the eBay for his employer. And then that employer's labor cost for their eBay person, instead of being competitive for the area, it tends to be near minimum wage, which reduces their expenses. And if you take any industry and you reduce the expenses across the board, reduce the average expenses across the board, creates more competition, creates less profit per item. I sold. What did I sell? I sold so much Warhammer stuff it all looks the same. Oh, did I not pull that one? I didn't pull that one. I sold a bag of 9 Space Marine Terminator figures, metal, like 1989, 1990 era, $49.28. Now, when Timmy is outsourcing, Timmy's going to use every dirty trick in the book. He will knock down old people, run straight past actual profitable merchandise to buy a pile of crap in his specialty. This is easiest to see in the video game category, but that's only because video games are the largest Timmy category in the world. You know, got any video games? Hey, you guys don't have any video games back there, do you? Or if they actually advertise video games in the sale, they're gone before the sale starts because every Timmy in town contacted them about the video games before the sale even started. Now, when you got Timmy as a seller, now he's equally likely to price everything to the moon and sell nothing, as he is to instead price down to the bottom and lose money on every sale. In either case, Timmy as an eBay seller, he basically makes nothing because he spends more money sourcing than he makes, so he's losing money in the end one way or another. I sold this Warhammer Rogue Trader era Imperial Colossus. The Rogue Trader era is the first couple of years of Warhammer. It had a lot of things in it that they took out of the game later, and a lot of the figures were unique to that era. This guy sold for $36.96. Now, Timmy is a buyer. Timmy is hard to please. Timmy's going to file a lot of eBay claims. And a lot of Timmys will just outright run buyer scams on you. Timmy will take your item out of your box and return the open box. And Timmy is extremely concerned with the condition of nearly worthless items. Because Timmy is a dreamer. He thinks that $1.99 Pokemon card is going to be worth $600 someday because it has Charmander on it. And when that card comes to him and it's only mint instead of Gem Mint, somehow Timmy in his head lost $500. He really feels he's justified in throwing a fit over this, not understanding that Timmy didn't lose anything because he bought a $1.99 near mint card that was worth $1.99. And the seller never promised it to be Gem Mint or anything of the sort, and that card will never be worth $500 or $600. Not going to happen. Because today in collectible card games, today in cards in general, almost nothing will make the $2 to $600 journey. Cards that are going to be valuable tend to be valuable right from the start. They don't tend to go from zero to hero over a long time like cards used to do. That's because specifically make cards with the collectors in mind now, and they have levels of rarity and things like that, which they just didn't have in the past. All right. Sold these 5 metal 1999 Reaper Rogue Trader era Warhammer figures, $25. I listed a lot of Warhammer in the last few days. That's why I sold a lot of Warhammer in the last few days. Now, a combination of Timmy in the market as both a buyer and a seller means greatly reduced profitability in any category Timmy is interested in. If Timmy likes your category, then you are definitely competing against a bunch of sellers who value their time at zero. Or you're competing against a Timmy running the account for his boss, making far less than a living wage. While Timmy's effect to the customer is higher returns, defects, and general after the sale problems on your account. I sold this Clive Barker Lord of Illusions double-sided movie poster, $5.93 plus ship. I would like to thank ADH Dave for selling me $650 for the posters on his whatnot for $120. They have been doing nicely for me, although I'm going to start lotting some of these up now. Once anything that falls below $5, I'm going to start pulling and selling in lots, because it cost me $10. Well, I charged $10 to ship the poster out, and I feel like they'd sell better in lots at that point. Page, why should I care about any of this? I already clicked off this video 23 minutes ago before it even started. The main reason you should care is in making reselling career and purchase decisions. If you happen to be an expert both in video games and boat parts, and you have sources for both, chances are, long term, you'll be a more profitable seller if you decide to specialize in boat parts. You don't have competitors operating in boat at zero profit in the area of boat parts like you do in video games. Sold 2 bags of Warhammer parts, $16.07. I did a bit of a Dave screw up in here though. I've got this lot, which sold for $8, has 2 dice in it that are worth about $8 each on their own. Surprised it took people 6 months to notice that. So if there are 2 opportunities available for you to make purchases, one's for tools, one's for Pokemon cards, you only have the money to take advantage of one, then you might want to pick the tools. Timmy doesn't know how to use tools. Timmy doesn't sell tools. Timmy doesn't buy tools. The tools are going to sell with much less problems on your account than the Pokemon cards would. Sold another poster. Dick Tracy. Remember that 5 minutes when people cared about Dick Tracy again? And then it completely stopped forever. This poster sold for $7.62. Understanding what a Timmy item is can also help you better judge the truthfulness and what is behind various claims filed against you as a seller. You know, in some cases you might get a claim, and do you really want the person to send the item back because it's going to cost you more money to get the item back than it's worth? Depends on if it's a Timmy item. Timmy might make a claim on every video game he buys, hoping he'll get a refund without having to send the item back. I make Timmy send the video game back. 2/3 of the time he doesn't. Matter of fact, I recently encountered Timmy in the eBay forums, starting yet another thread about why his epic Timmy store wasn't getting sales. And I'm just going to call this Timmy. And I'm going to call his store Timmy's Japanese Games. I sold 7 Eldar Guardian Defenders for a whole $8.47. These are the chintzy plastic ones, so that's why they sell for so little. Timmy has himself a store with almost 10,000 items in it. And it's almost exclusively Japanese market video game cartridges. Not NES cartridges and Super NES cartridges. No, yes, Famicom cartridges and Super Famicom cartridges and Japanese market Game Boy cartridges and cartridges for whatever the Segas were called over in Japan. He's got those. And that's a double Timmy category if there ever was one. Both Japanese and video games. Now this is going to be an extremely niche category. attracting only a tiny percentage of console game collectors. And the people who do purchase in this category are usually only going to spend in that category when they have tons of extra money. Because in some cases, you actually need a Japanese market console to play these games. Or you'll need an adapter, or you'll have to modify your console to even play these games in the first place. That's for most of them. I think the Game Boy ones are fairly cross-compatible, but the Nintendo and Super Famicom and Sega ones and all that, you tend to have do something to the console or modify it to even play the game. The other problem is the only real way to source these games is to get them from Japan in the first place. You don't come across Super Famicom games at garage sales. I sold this Hubley Jr. Diecast Narrow Farm Kitty Toy, $4.23. I paid $3 for this several years ago. I'm gonna break even on it at best. They knew what they had, and I didn't know enough not to buy it. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now, the Japanese market cartridges is a bad specialty to have in America. First off, you can't source the items without ordering them from overseas. That's already a recipe for poor performance because anyone can do that. That's why you want to actually have an eBay situation where you find actual great profitable deals and sell them instead of just ordering something from someplace and hoping you can sell it for more money on eBay. Because maybe you can for a while until your competition looks up the item as well and says, oh yeah, they sell these on Alibaba for $7, so I'm going to buy them as well. And before you know it, you're priced down to zero on that same item, or to zero profitability. That's why I don't like that sort of thing. Creates a race to the bottom. Secondly, that's a niche that realistically maybe one person in 5,000 is even interested in. And I didn't pull that number completely out of my butt. I based it on maybe 1% of Americans actually collect old video game cartridges. It actually makes for a decent niche size, if it's even 1%. But only a tiny percentage of video game collectors are going to be interested in Japanese market games. They can't read Japanese, they can't speak Japanese, they likely don't have the console or haven't modified their console or have the adapter to be able to play the games, and 2/3 of the games are available in English anyway, or are terrible, which is why they were never ported to the American consoles. So I say maybe 1 in 50 retro game collectors care about Japanese market games. I know when a friend of mine had a retro game store shop, the bargain bin always had a bunch of Famicom, that's the Japanese Nintendo games in it, and they did not seem to be flying off the shelves at all. Sold a lot of 6 cassette tape soundtracks, Pretty Woman, Stand By Me, all that, $6.42. So, what you got there? You got a niche with an extremely small fan base that you can't source offline. You'd think you'd want to be extremely competitive on price, right? Because I discussed this store with Timmy quite a bit over multiple messages. I'm just going to quote Timmy's response to one of my messages. I don't compete on price. And then he went on to tell me that he was going to raise his prices because he is a scam target. Timmy at his current prices has a 7-year sell-through rate, but he's going to raise those prices because of scammers. Hey, I sold 6 of these Tupperware ice cream dishes, $7.38. I had about 50 cents in them, so that did okay. And I sold this Orlander Golf head cover, $3.98. Not great, but I am in the profit on the thing of head covers I bought. All right, I rambled on about Timmy for long enough. I think I have. If you do know any Timmys, or if you're a Timmy yourself, why don't you subscribe to this channel? And if you are a Timmy, hey, don't be offended by this video. Timmy, I love you, man. I know plenty of Timmys in real life, and they are great people. But at some point, maybe you want to grow up and stop being a Timmy. That's all I got. Hope to see you again soon.